start it. You may begin.
Okay, class, today we will be learning how to do double-digit addition. Does anyone need help?
What's 2 plus 2?
If I give you 2 cookies and then I give you 2 more, how many do you have?
5.
No, you idiot, the answer is 4.
Now, Vanessa, that's not nice, and say what the correct answer is 4, but maybe you think it was 5.
It's always better to have 5 cookies than 4.
4, right, but what is the right answer?
4 because Lynette so over here blurted it out.
Well, everybody knows the answer is 4.
It's time for recess, you guys. What I chose to be was an elementary teacher. Now, you may have been wondering, what do I do as an elementary teacher? Well, what I do is I teach grades kindergarten through 4th grade, prepare tests. I also work with students individually, making sure they understand everything. I also grade papers and tests and develop classroom rules. Usually I would dress professional looking, so I most likely would be wearing a dress or a blouse with dress pants or a blouse with a skirt. My work hours would most likely be from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, but I may stay at work for a couple more hours to work on lesson plans, grading, and developing units. But I had a little trouble deciding which career I would choose from. My first choice was an elementary teacher. This way I can do what I love doing. My second choice was a lawyer. If I did become a lawyer, then I most likely would not get to work with kids, and I probably would not be a very good lawyer in the first place. My third choice was a doctor. If I did become a doctor, then I may have worked with some kids, but I would not get to interact with the same children on a daily basis. This brings me to my opportunity cost. The definition of opportunity cost is the highest valued alternative which one is forced to give up in order to get their first choice. Or in simpler terms, opportunity cost is becoming a lawyer. But I chose to become an elementary teacher because I want to impact kids' lives even though lawyers make a lot more money. I would also rather become a teacher because I love working with kids. I love kids in general, so if I did become a lawyer, then I would have to give up working with kids. There are both bad and good things about becoming a teacher. Some positive incentives about my career are I would have a portion of the summer off. The rest of my summer, I would probably be doing district training. A portion of the summer off is good because most people working do not have summers off. I get to work with kids. And I just told you guys that I love working with kids. And I also get frequent breaks between the school year due to holidays. My negative incentives are I can get sick easier. This makes sense because I'm working around kids and I'm exposed to more sickness. The teaching standards are always changing, so then I need to catch up and learn new strategies to teach my students. And I have a low salary, so this was kind of hard for me to budget. I am living off of $33,300 a year. This is only $2,775 a month, so you guys can imagine that this was kind of hard for me at times. I was really surprised how high my school loans were. I thought that they would be a little lower than they were. I was also really surprised how much my parking fee was. My gas was $150, and as you guys can tell, that was like way off. My parents' gas was $500. My estimates were pretty close, and so were my parent estimates, but my parent estimates were probably the closest. On my pie graph, my taxes were 20%. This is pretty low because of my low salary. Housing took up 17%, mostly because I got one of the cheaper apartments, but it was still expensive when I was budgeting. My discretionary took up 14%, mostly because this included my charity, savings, life insurance, pets, clothing, appliances, entertainment, and cable. Also, my school loans were 14%. My transportation was 12%. This was low because if my car breaks down, then I could get a ride with one of my other teachers, or I could walk home since I'm living in Newton, and Newton is a fairly small town. At 9% are my utilities. I was really surprised how low this was. Again, this was low because of my low salary. My food on my pie graph is at 7%. This is really low because of my low salary. Next is my medical insurance. This is low because I would remain on my parents' health care plan. At 2% are my toiletries. Again, this is low because this is only for me. But I also had to give up a few things too. The definition of a trade-off is gaining a little more of one alternative in exchange for a little less of a different alternative. So my trade-offs are I gave up a higher salary so I can work with kids. I gave up having a pet so I can save more money. I also gave up having a new car so I can save even more money. The reason why I am able to teach is because of my educational background. I went to Ottawa University because it had good reviews and I had a lot of opportunities. While I was at Ottawa University, I earned my Bachelor's of Science in Education. While I was at Ottawa, I was a math tutor for 2 years, a student assistant for 1 year, and a student teacher for a semester at Petersburg Elementary School. Because of my experiences at Ottawa University, I am organized, flexible, I love working with kids, and I'm a team player. My references are Amy Jones. She is my cooperating teacher, and Mr. Kevin Schumann, my professor from Ottawa University. I wrote my letter of application to John Adams. He is the principal of Santa Fe Elementary School. I am interested in teaching there. I would probably be teaching grades kindergarten through 4th grade. My websites that I researched were Wikipedia, Job Descriptions, Career Planner, All Education Schools, SimpleJobDescriptions.org, and BLS.gov. All of these websites that I researched talked about what teachers do and what their day would look like on a daily basis. I found a couple of articles on teaching. My first one is titled Building a Better Teacher. This article talks about how to get your students to obey your instructions and how to get your students engaged. My second article is titled What Makes a Great Teacher. This article is about that teachers need to be fun and well prepared. I am glad that I chose to be an elementary teacher because it was everything that I ever hoped I wanted to